So, if you're an investor using Zerodha, you know you have all this portfolio data just sitting there. But turning that data into real, clear answers? Well, that usually means a whole lot of exporting spreadsheets and manual work. But what if you could just ask? That's what's starting to change, right now.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Do you really understand your stock portfolio? I mean, beyond just the big number at the top. Do you know your actual diversification, where your biggest risks are hiding, or maybe even where there are some opportunities you're missing? For most of us, the answer is probably not really, just because it takes way too much time to figure it all out.
And this really gets to the heart of the change. The old way? What a pain, right? You're exporting to Excel, you're building all these formulas, you're spending hours just trying to connect the dots. The new way? It's just a conversation. You ask a question in plain English, and you get an instant, data-driven answer about your specific investments. This isn't just a small upgrade. It's a total shift from grunt work to getting insights immediately.
So what's the magic behind all this? Well, it's a brand new connection between Zerodha and an AI assistant called Claude. Basically, by using its APIs, Zerodha has given Claude a direct, secure line into your portfolio data. Think of it like a bridge between your questions and your actual investments.
And to be super clear, we're not talking about uploading some old static file here. This is a live connection. You can ask Claude some seriously complex questions, and it will go and fetch your current holdings and your past trades to give you personalized analysis. Like right now. It can even help you place trades, with your permission, of course.
Okay, so enough with the theory, right? What can this thing actually do? Let's walk through a few real-world examples that really put it to the test, starting with something simple and then moving on to some seriously powerful stuff. All right, first up, a question every single one of us has probably asked. Instead of digging through a bunch of trade logs and statements, the user just asked Claude directly, hey, who are my top 3 winners and my top 3 losers over the last 6 months? Simple as that.
And boom, just like that, Claude came back with the answer. This is so brilliant because it shows the main benefit right away. It completely gets rid of all that manual labor. No more logging into Zerodha, no downloading Excel files, no sorting and filtering data, just a question and a direct answer. This is like the new baseline for convenience.
Okay, that's cool for basic stuff, but what about something more complex? Can it actually connect big, real-world events to the specific stocks sitting in your portfolio? To test this out, the user asked a really pointed question about the potential impact of Trump's tariffs.
And the result was, honestly, pretty incredible. Claude didn't just spit out some generic answer. It pinpointed a specific stock, Sapria Life Science, and explained exactly why it was at risk, because something like 10 to 15% of its revenue comes from the US. And then it even quantified the potential damage, estimating a 10 to 15% hit to the stock price. I mean, that's a level of analysis that would normally take hours of hard research.
Now, let's talk about something that I think worries a lot of investors: risk management. A common blind spot for so many of us is our true portfolio allocation. You might think you're diversified, but are you really? So the user asked Claude for a complete breakdown. And wow, the answer was a serious eye-opener. A staggering 90%, 9-0, of the portfolio was in small-cap stocks. This instantly exposed a massive concentration risk. Now, even if you have a growth-focused strategy, seeing that number just makes the potential for huge swings in your portfolio crystal clear. It's one thing to know your strategy, but it's another thing entirely to see the risk laid out so starkly.
Okay, this next one is where we go from cool insights to, actual money in your pocket. The user asked a really sophisticated financial planning question. Could they use their portfolio to save on taxes through tax loss harvesting? That's a strategy where you sell investments that are down to offset the taxes you owe on your gains.
The answer it came back with was just wild. The AI crunched the numbers on the entire portfolio and found a potential tax saving of nearly 16 lakh rupees. It did this by finding stocks with big paper losses, 50 lakh rupees worth, that could be booked to offset gains and slash the final tax bill.
And here's the absolute genius of it. As the analysis pointed out, even after selling those positions to realize 50 lakh in losses, the portfolio would still be sitting on 57 lakh in net gains. So you're using paper losses to generate real tax savings, all without hurting your overall positive position. I mean, this is a pro-level strategy that became accessible with a single question.
Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking 2 things. 1, how complicated is this thing to set up? And 2, more importantly, is it safe? Let's tackle those right now. Believe it or not, the setup is ridiculously easy. We're talking less than a minute. You just install 2 pieces of software, Node.js and the Claude desktop app, and then you literally copy and paste a configuration setting. That's it. You're in. Now, for the big one, the most important question, safety. The whole system is really built with security as a top priority. First off, you have to approve every single action. It can't just go and trade automatically. And according to Zerodha, the data processing happens right there on your computer, not on some remote server. And finally, its main job is to read data. If you want to do anything that actually changes your portfolio, you have to give it explicit permission again and again.
All right, so as amazing as all this sounds, we got to be real for a second. This is still an early experiment, a proof of concept. And the tool has some limitations you should definitely know about before jumping in. First thing, this is a desktop-only tool for now. It's not going to work on your phone. Second, the free version of Claude has a pretty tight limit on how much you can chat. After a few complex questions, it's probably going to ask you to wait or upgrade. So for any kind of serious analysis, you'll likely need a paid pro subscription. Really, it's best suited for those heavy data crunching jobs on big, complex portfolios where doing it all by hand is just a nightmare.
So after all that, what's the bottom line? The really crucial point is this. We are watching complex, time-consuming financial analysis literally transform into a simple conversation. And this isn't just about making things easier. It's about giving regular retail investors access to deep, personalized insights that, until now, were pretty much out of reach.
And that leaves us with a huge, fascinating question for the future, doesn't it? As these AI tools get smarter, more powerful, and more integrated into the platforms we use every day, will having an AI copilot to help navigate the markets become not just a nice-to-have, but an absolute essential for every single investor out there? It's definitely something to think about.